Alrighty, what's up, y'all? So here's an update for my tire in the rear. My tire plug failed. It let me down. Well, it didn't fail all the way, it was failing. So I decided to go ahead and internally plug patch it, and it is awesome. And I decided to wait a couple weeks before I made this video so that I give a proper follow-up and not just be like, hey y'all, plug my tire from the inside, I patched it and it's good to go. It is, but I didn't want to say it that way until I had actual concrete proof. So I was riding around a couple weeks ago and my tires were getting quite warm. It was one of the warmest days we've had this season in Michigan, and I was getting out there and the getting was good, and then that little plug started to become really gooey, and luckily I was close enough to home where I decided, you know what, I'm gonna just go ahead and get this over with, because I did buy the plug patch kit, some spoons and paddles to protect my rims, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. So I took a good look at it, and it was starting to extend out of the tire, stretch out a little bit. When I got it home, ended up taking off the tire, right? Did all the things that allowed me to take my rear tire off. I've taken my rear tire off dozens of times because, one, I'm lucky enough to ride around a lot when I can and I run through tires, and two, I'm also lucky enough to hit a lot of shit and keep having holes in my tires. So got a lot of experience taking off the butt cheeks of this here motorcycle. After that was done, I put my tire up on a milk crate that I had laying around, because I do various things that requires milk crates, and I started to get to work. I got a little bottle of soapy water, and I'm going to put B-roll, obviously. I'm just trying to remember all the things that I did, and I started prying, and almost met His Holiness, because I was about to eat shit when I fell off the side of the damn milk crate, because I was trying to sit on the tire because I'm strong, and I was lifting the tire off of the milk crate with the trying to break the bead, and I was like, you know what, let me sit my fat ass on this tire for a counterweight. And then the milk crate was like, okay, I got you, son, and almost skablooski. And it was a sobering moment, so I decided to switch out the milk crate for a 5-gallon home depot bucket that I had sitting around, and it made the job a little bit easier. Center of balance was a little bit off, but that was my own fault. I had to adjust it a couple times. Anyway, sprayed it with a nice little bottle of soapy water for the win. It helped a lot removing that bead. The bead was a pain in the ass, and I was really pissed off. I had to go in the house and take a couple breaks because that thing was giving me the business. But you know what? I'm actually appreciative that the bead on that tire is so hard to take off, because I've ridden home multiple times, not necessarily on this tire, but on a couple tires where it was flat or extremely low. And the only thing that protected me from busting out and riding on rim was the fact that the bead on the tire is so damn secure that it allowed me to go 50, 60 miles per hour on the way home, limping on either a flat or a low tire. I mean, the tire that I'm on right now had a straight up slit in it, even though it slit the surface, the meat, but it was a tiny puncture on the inside. However, whatever the hell stabbed my tire, I still don't know. It doesn't make it any better, right? I was completely flat, no air, zero, none, the first time. Plugged it, got home, the bead was intact way back when. So when I was fighting with this thing, getting all sweaty, I was like, this is some bullshit, this should come off a lot easier than I thought about it. No, thank God it didn't. Thank God they don't. Anyway, finally got the thing worked off. I used the paddles, they were very nice. I had to go back in the house and watch a couple YouTube videos again, because I was like, I gotta be doing something wrong. I wasn't, I just was impatient. Once I broke the bead, I got the spoons in, and I was able to work. I did tiny bites. I used the 3-spoon method after I got my wits about me. 2 spoons were to hold pressure onto the tire, and the other spoon was kind of working it over the paddle, which I was using as a rim protector, which is what it is, a rim protector paddle. And I just bit around, and it finally just popped up over the side, and I got the tire off the rim. Almost no fuss, other than me just being slightly frustrated. Anyway, before that, breaking the bead. Once you break the bead on one little section, you kind of work it around the same way. I bit, broke the bead, and once you break it once, you just push down on it one good time, slides right off. And then the most of it is the tire doesn't really stretch. You have to squeeze if you have to break the bead on both sides, mind you. It doesn't just break and then completely come off. The bead is secure on both sides of the tire, so I had to flip it, break the bead again, and then it started to move. But you have to get the bead of the tire into the drop center. It's the depression right in the middle of the rim, which gives you a little wiggle room to kind of stretch the bead over the rim. The bead doesn't just stretch. It's not a rubber band, even though it's a rubber tire. That is a hard metal rimmed, I'm assuming metal, reinforced backing with a rubber cover on it. Doesn't stretch. It bends and it's a little malleable. A little. Got it off the tire. Again, soapy water helped everything, made everything smooth. I found the puncture wound and then I sprayed it with some cleaner. There was some special rubber cleaner, preparation cleaner that I bought. There is also the tool that I used to scuff up the inside of the tire properly. I bought the vulcanizing glue. So the plug, the only way I can describe a plug is like a really, really hefty bro shake. Kind of like this.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
And the only way I can kind of explain the vulcanization process, where the rubber and the glue start to become one, if you will, is kind of like this.
We are Venom.
So one seems to be a little more secure, and it absolutely is, right? That bro handshake obviously started to let loose on me, and I had to get something better by getting the plug patch kit. Now I got about 3 sizes. The plug patch that I use is very large in surface area. Looks like a witch's hat, right? It's got the plug itself that goes through the puncture wound, and it's got the patch that's circular and pretty much orbits, covers the entire surface area inside of the tire where the puncture could be. Like, it gives you so much more surface area of rubber inside. It's such a better technique to use than a normal plug. So I got the inside scuffed up, cleaned it again just for, S&Gs, because I like to be thorough. Applied the rubber cement, pulled in the plug with my pliers, not tweezers. Got it all snug and secure. Rolled it down with the rolly tool. There is a plastic kind of film on it that you had to take off after. It was just a protector to keep the dirt from getting on the patch itself. You take that off, you cut the rubber that is excess on the outside of the tire, and then you apply a little bit more rubber cement on the outer side of the patch that's exposed inside the tire. So you apply the glue, pull the patch in, it's now touching, and you put a little bit more glue over the backing of it, and I've ridden a couple 100 miles. I will put the mileage from when I put the patch on to the mileage I have today, so that you can see that's my actual physical proof, and I will give you a nice little picture of how the patch looks right now, and it's not dropped a single, not one, not none PSI. 0. It's held very well, feels good, it rides better. I'm actually a lot more confident because I was really keeping an eye on that plug, because I knew it could eventually fail. The way that it was pushed in and the size of that gash, I got the big gash, was just not conducive to holding the plug in. You can actually see what it looks like in some of these pictures. I shoved like 2 or 3 in there because I was just like I was super far away from home and I wanted the most secure bond. By the time I took the tire off, 1 or 2 of them were already just completely inside the tire. They just looked like hard licorice, and the other one was basically a little nubbin, and I finally just pulled it out. So do I recommend anybody do this? That's up to you. I learned a new skill. I did what they would have done at the shop anyway, and although shops don't want to take that liability, I rode on that plug for 100, 200 miles, something like that, last season. It lasted over the winter. Couple rides this season, then it started to get a little gooey because it was hot. It is malleable, started to fail. I've ridden on this thing for 3 or 4 times that amount this season, and it's legit. I'm gonna run it to the end of the life of the tire. I also plug patched the tire that I had in the garage that was basically brand new, that I punctured last summer, right before I got the tire that I punctured 3 weeks later, which I'm currently riding on now. And that was a much smaller hole, so I used a much smaller patch. And when this one dies and I need to change the front, I now know how to do it. Oh, also, I got some balance beads. Those things are legit. So I took the magnets off. I tried to, also when you put the tire back on, if you get it all the way on, it don't really move around. It doesn't shift left or right. So you have to kind of aim it where you want it, move it a little bit, it moves a little bit. But if you really need to get it a lot of movement, you have to get it off of the rim again, at least one side, move it to where you want it, and then force it back over the rim. Whatever it happens, that thing becomes pretty stationary. You can force it, but again, soapy water for the W. Got the heavy side, of course, which is where the patch is close to lined up with the heavy side of the rim, which is, of course, the valve stem. And then I took the magnets off because you're supposed to balance them on a free-floating axle and use the magnets to counterbalance and all that jazz. But I was like, you know what? Since I'm doing this, I'm gonna get the balance beads. They're a pain in the ass to put in. Got my Schrader valve remover tool. Removed that Schrader valve, which is the center that goes up and down of your valve stem. Got the little tube, got the little applicator, bought the size that was right for my rim, which is 170? 120? I forgot, but it's labeled. And, no, 190, 120? Whatever the hell, I got the right size, and I still have the weights on the front because I wanted to see if I could feel the differences, any nominal vibrations in the tire. And I'm thinking I'm going to rip the weights off the front and just put the balance beads in there and then buy a new set when I'm ready to change them both out. There is no chance I'm going to be able to reuse these beads because once I take off the tire, they're going to go everywhere and I'm going to have to buy some new ones. I wouldn't even try to catch them and try to save them, whatever. But so far, not even so far, I would definitely recommend these things. This tire feels incredibly smooth. Also, the balance beads will accommodate for any further wear in the tire. When you first put the balance, or when you first put the weights on your tire, it's when your tire is completely from the factory, usually, or after a nominal change, and the tire has to be rebalanced. But you will continue to accumulate wear on your tire, and it may or may not wear evenly depending on your riding style, and then the weight will change, the balance will change, and the use of those weights will become less effective. These balance beads, I googled them, I looked them up, I watched the videos. I still don't understand how they work, but damn, they will just go to where they need to go to balance the tire. So I think I covered everything. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Alright, so quick update. It's been a couple weeks since the beginning, the first part of this video, and I think I mentioned in the first part of this video that I was going to think about, or actually take the front weights off and put the balance beads in the front tire, and I just did so earlier today, and so far everything seems to be smooth. I put maybe about 40 miles on since I put them on, and my front tire's been feeling a little wonky. I thought it was because I did a bad job on my forks and I was really feeling bad, but I think that my tire was off balance, even though I had weights on it and got it balanced last year. Again, I talked about it before, tires can weigh unevenly, and then I think I kind of just crapped off my balance, and then things went bad juju. So I took out my Schrader valve, took off the weights, I installed the damn balance beads, and they went in pretty smoothly, just like they did in the rear. And so far, in a controlled environment, I got the bike up to about 120, and under heavy acceleration, and under retained speed, constant speed, it was smooth, like SMOOVE smooth. My old tire, well, this tire, with the balance weights on it, about 100, it would start to vibrate a little bit more than I was comfortable with. Not that I go that fast very often, but again, in a controlled environment, got it up to about 100, and I didn't just like the sensation of it. So with these balance beads in, got about 20 miles over that, and it was still pretty smooth. I didn't want to take it any farther. I don't normally ride that way again, and I ran out of room in my said controlled environment. But I'm going to go ahead and give them the vote of confidence, because I've been riding around for a couple weeks with the rear tire. That vehicle almost got a booty kiss from that Ford. And the rear tire's been feeling pretty good, so I figured the front tire would feel just as good, and I have proved so with my little experiment. So, to end this video off, yeah, balance beads. Good to go. I'm out.